you. I notice when we're getting
Hey, thank you.
close.
Brent,
Hey,
welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out and coming on.
no, thank you for having me.
Definitely. Like the first thing I wanted to say is I see you have a new horror film, and I love how it looks in the background. And this isn't your first horror. I love The Boy. So, what do you love most about making horror films like your current one?
I mean, probably a couple things. I mean, I love like horror really is in, you can tell any kind of story, any kind of way. And it's just a twist on storytelling. A lot of people have preconceived notions of what a horror film is, and they may or may not think they like it, but it's like, well, not every movie is maybe what they think it, it's any kind of movie. There's been so many great films in movie history that are horror and that run the gamut. So that's just really fun creatively, to know that we can make a movie and tell any story and then kind of twist that story in such a way that if it weren't horror, we couldn't do. And then, the audiences, it's every time in between movies. And I'll be developing a handful of things, and some may step outside of like straight kind of horror more than others. And then as soon as I get like into this part of the process or testing the movie, and the energy and the excitement from horror fans, it's
Yes.
I'm like, if I was doing a rom-com or if I was doing a straight drama, I go, it wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have all this like energy. And I love it, good or bad. It's like I love just the discourse and the passion that audiences in this genre have. And so, you know, um, and then more and more, I find myself not even questioning thinking of doing it, things
Uh,
that are different, because I know that feeling of how disappointing I would be if I didn't have that audience to go to.
Nice. Yeah, like horror is great. I'm a huge horror fan, and the fans of horror are just so loyal,
Yeah,
and horror conventions and all that stuff. It's great.
I know. Yeah, I've not even got involved in that much, and but it's crazy how much of that exists.
Oh, definitely. So like, where did you wind up filming that? Like, where was the big fest at? The Harvest Fest.
The whole thing takes place in this town about an hour north of London called Aldbury Village.
Okay.
And so the whole movie we shot on location in that village. And I thought, going into it, we'd build some sets and,
Mhm.
shoot in different areas and make it feel like one area. But, where the festival took place was the town green, the village green of Aldbury, and all the houses we filmed in, and the forests and the hills. I mean, it was all the same place. And so it was really cool to be able to step into Barrow every day filming and telling that story. Even, the church, I thought for sure we'd have to go somewhere else for a church, and they have this beautiful church overlooking the whole village, and they let us film in it and around it, and it was incredible.
Nice, nice. And did you go back and watch like any horror films to get ready for this one? Because it definitely has like a dark cult type vibe to the film. And did you go back and watch any themed horror films like that?
I don't really do that, because it then I start to worry too much that I might copy something, or like I like, say, this movie in the script, a lot of people draw parallels to the Wicker Man, which, because that's about the same
Yes,
type of similar festival, like a Lord Misrule
definitely,
festival.
definitely.
And my most vivid memory of that was I saw the remake, and I didn't enjoy the remake. So then, but I had a great memory of the original, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to go back, and I just kind of wanted to push both of those out of my headspace. But and try to just focus on something that felt unique to me, even. So yeah, I try not to do that much. When we're making the movie, I try to trust my instincts of, I probably did that more in the past, but now it's like trusting just what comes natural, is hopefully the thing that feels best in the movie.
Oh yeah. And like not only is this like a horror film with a lot of dark stuff to it, but it shows the love between a mom and her kid, and how she would stop at nothing, battle evil just to save her child. And was that like the theme that you were going for, besides the horror part, to show like the closeness between a mother and her child?
Definitely. The whole idea of like, how far would you go to save, your child or the soul of your child, maybe. And in her case, her choice isn't just a mother and a daughter, but it's, you know, um, she's obviously very pious to her God, because she's a vicar, and she's in charge of that town from a godly perspective. And to realize that they have a different perspective as far as maybe religion goes, and she has to make a choice, not just as a human, but also as a priest, or a vicar, as to like, can she choose one god over the other, to possibly save her daughter. So yeah, it plays into a much bigger theme of kind of religion and extremism, and but it's still the same choice, and it still came down to that very human choice of a parent and her daughter.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like some horror films, like you got slasher films like Freddy and Jason, but like something like this is like more real, because something like this can actually happen.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's, what I learned the more I got involved with the movie and the more research I did, is just how common these types of festivals are, all across all of the UK and more. And so as I was collaborating with cast and crew in different ways and having conversations, everybody had their own story of a festival kind of like this, even as dark and weird. Um, there were no child sacrifices,
Okay.
but there probably had been in the past. But and so it was really fascinating, that it is real, like these things do happen. So I find that that's so much more, for me as a storyteller, in telling kind of horror stories, so much more effective when you can relate to something, that it could happen in reality, by and large. That way, hopefully, when you leave the movie theater, it sticks with you when you least expect it. um yeah.
Definitely. And I know you got other interviews to do, so I'm gonna to end it with this, is where can fans follow the film and see the film at?
Yeah, I mean, the film will be on December 8th. It'll be in theaters and it'll be streaming. So, you'll be able to find it, Lord of Misrule, Magnolia Pictures, Magnet Releasing. It'll be kind of everywhere.
Awesome, buddy. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and I always love talking horror, so thank you for doing it.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Nice to meet you.
Definitely. Have a good one.
Thanks, Rocco.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Have a good one.